Dear brothers and sisters, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who do not know, my name is Lakshmi. I'm an energy healing medium and a meditation teacher, and I've created this channel, Rise and Shine TV, specifically for every one of you who are on a path of spiritual awakening and enlightenment, and on a path of better understanding and accepting oneself. In this video, I want to continue sharing with you my experience and my insights from my Vipassana retreat. What wisdom did I gain and how it changed my life completely. But before we start, please click a like button and subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with all our latest classes, videos and meditations. In my previous video last week, I told you about organizational part of Vipassana retreats, the structure, the schedule, and what to expect from it. And today I would like to share with you my experience, my insights, and my takeaways from it. So without any further ado, let's dive in straight into the topic. My first insight happened to me pretty much right away. Like I said in my previous video, all there is free, including food. So on my first day, I put the full plate of food. I took the entire banana, the entire orange, and so on, and I couldn't finish it. I was full, but I felt bad throwing away the food in front of everyone, so I took breaks. Within an hour, maybe, I finished my meal. I felt so heavy after the meal. It was hard to walk back to the room. My heart was pounding. So next time I came to the dining room, I took half of what I ate previously, and it still was a lot. Next time I reduced it to quarter of it, quarter of an apple, few pieces of orange, half of the banana. And that was finally what my body needed. I felt light and energetic after the meal. You see, most of the time we eat not because our body truly needs it, but because our mind is craving for food, because it is bored, for example. So next, let's talk about the technique of Vipassana itself. This technique implies observation of your bodily sensations equanimously. So first 3 days we were observing only the tip of our noses. That was the time my mind and my ego were the most loud. My mind suggested that this is all bullshit and I probably need to leave. The technique promises that if it's done properly, you will be able to feel the atoms in your body. So my mind was screaming how observation of the tip of my nose will help me to feel the atoms in my body. But thank God I stayed, because by the end of it, I was able to feel the flow of blood throughout my body, and I was able to feel my bones even. From the beginning, my mind was so loud. It was telling me stories. It was singing songs. I just couldn't shut it down, and I thought that I'll just go crazy. That's why we are all the same and we are all crazy in a way. The thing is not to say yes to the craziness of the mind. So the more I observed the sensations in my body, the sharper my mind became, and I was able to notice a connection between my mind and sensations in my body. That every thought, absolutely every thought, caused a sensation in my body, and every sensation had a corresponding thought. So I observed further. If I started to feel an unpleasant sensation, then I immediately knew that I need to pay attention to the thoughts that feed in it, and vice versa. If my mind got very loud, it meant there was a sensation that I just couldn't notice before. So the more I observed my sensations, the quieter my mind became. And by the day 5, the miracle happened. I sat 1.5 hours in meditation without any thought, zero, like absolute silence. It was truly divine experience, and only these 1.5 hours were worth of going there. But that was only the beginning. Very powerful insight I had was about expectations, because I went to Vipassana hearing what my friends had to say about it, and I formed a certain image of what it's supposed to be. And it caused me a great deal of suffering because nothing was as expected, and my mind started thinking for quite some time that I do something wrong. Just let go of all the expectations. We all gonna have our own journey there. Another observation was about how attached we are to the illusion of stability in our lives. We must know for sure the future to feel secure, right? The main measure of stability is time itself, and it's of course the greatest illusion. In retreat, we meditated without the watch, so we were able to break through this illusion at least for a little bit. And what about the weather forecast? Have you thought about it? Only without phone, I realized what a great part it plays in creating the illusion of stability of knowing what's to come. There, I had no idea what tomorrow will look like. Will it bring sun or rain? And that was bringing me one step closer to the moment of now. Another thing was that the technique itself was almost identical to the very basis of energy healing. So my mind started to deceive me that there is nothing new for me here, and I'm doing it for so many years and I'm not yet enlightened, so how this will help, right? It must be some kind of a scam. Our minds can be so funny sometimes, but I'm glad I didn't listen to my mind and stayed. Because though I knew this technique very good, I didn't know the deeper meaning, the deeper application of this technique. I use it for healing, but not for the liberation. One piece of the puzzle was missing, and now that I received it, the whole picture of reality became so clear to me. Also worth mentioning is my observation of illusory nature of our fears. That was so funny that every time any fear came to my mind, it was refuted right away. For example, my fear that I won't be able to sit long in meditation because of my knee problems. My mind started to constantly think about it and create so many variations of reality where it could go wrong, and then I was told that I simply can sit on the chair. I have multiple examples like that, but I don't want to make this video an hour long. So another observation was how many energy we spend to do something rebellious, something against the rules. For example, there was the rule that you need to take shoes in the hallway. But my mind was trying to convince me that my feet will get cold walking barefoot. So I was doing everything possible to be able to stay in shoes for as long as possible. So much mental energy was wasted to just go against the simple rule. Then of course I needed to vacuum clean after myself and do all these other things, otherwise could be avoided. That was a very good lesson for me, and maybe it will be a good lesson for some of you as well. Then I observed what deep effect has on us getting grades in school. We are so programmed and conditioned to think in terms good and bad. Good girl, bad girl, this what you've done was good and that was bad, etc. So now we automatically validate our feelings as good or bad. And of course we are responding with craving or aversion to it, creating karma after karma. So the essence of Vipassana technique is to be able to observe your sensations, feelings, thoughts, and emotions equanimously without labeling it as good or bad. It teaches just to observe reality as it is, because suffering starts when we're trying to cling to a good, pleasant feeling and we're trying to run away from bad or unpleasant one. It's in our nature that once we feel something bad, we want immediately to change it or substitute it with something good. But the nature of the reality is such that bad periods always change onto a good periods, and then bad period will come again, and then a good period will come again. It's like a wave. Nothing is permanent. Everything comes and goes. That's why there is no need to fight with your bad sensations or bad periods in general. We need simply to observe them equanimously without any attachment, without any judgment. And with a light attitude, oh, sensation, I wonder how long it will last. And same with good sensations, we don't need to cling to it, to try to keep them forever. We also need to realize the permanent nature of its reality, that it will go away. Just the only thing we can do is to observe it equanimously. So next big block of my observation was about the nature of mind and body. Every time we have a sensation, a sensation in our body, the corresponding thought appears, and if I caught myself thinking about something for a very long time, then I could find an underlying sensation which supported this thought. So it became clear to me, not from someone's word, but from my own experience, how mind becomes matter and matter becomes mind. Our thoughts are like wood for the fire of our emotions and sensations. The more we stuck thinking about something, the more powerful and unpleasant or pleasant sensation we'll feel. This is how fear, stress, and anxieties gets cultivated in our body. But once we break this link, once we stop thinking the thoughts which are attached to the particular sensation, it gets very easy to observe this feeling or sensation, and it disappears very quickly, usually in a matter of minutes. Thus, it is very important to master this skill of detached observation. Next big question I observed was the eternal question of who am I? Humans keep asking this question from the dawn of civilization. From the start, I realized who is asking this question, and it is the mind. The question is asked by our mind only, so the good answer to it will be, you are the mind. But the second component is worth mentioning, and it's our body. We already talked how the two are connected. So if there is only a sensation in your body, for example, cold, you are not bothered by it. It is as it is. But then mind notices it, and you start thinking, oh, I am cold. All of a sudden, this I concept appears. There is a sunny weather, your body feels pleasant sensations, your mind starts thinking about it. I like sunny weather. Again, we became a witness of the birth of I phenomenon. So this is how, bit by bit, since our childhood, we are creating the image of ourselves. Like this, our personality gets created. You repeat these programs of what you like and what you don't like, not even realizing that there is no you in all of it. And then we get so attached to this self-created image of who we think we are, and we just cannot let it go. Everything becomes I, my, mine, my karma, for example, and you cling to it. Even if it's unpleasant, you cannot let go because it's mine, and I feel it. I, me. Craziness. So let's talk about karma if we are on the subject. Because even karma is not yours. Karma is shared between all the humanity. The whole process of reincarnation became so clear to me, how there is two streams of reincarnation, one for the body and another for the consciousness. But let's talk in depth about it in our next video. This one gets too long already. But here I just want to mention that Vipassana teaches that our reaction of clinging and aversion to the sensations in our body are our karmas. Every reaction is a creation of a new karma. But once we stop reacting, once we simply observe it as it is, we stop the accumulation of new karmas, and then all of the old karmas start to come up to the surface, and somehow, without reacting to it, we clear all of our past karmas. This is why it is useless to heal your childhood, your ancestry, and your past lives if you don't know how to stop this accumulation of karma in the present moment. Basically, all you need to do is the present moment, and here and now you can set a powerful intention not to create any more karmas and become liberated and free of suffering. Another observation of mine was about the notion of old souls. You know how people like to label others, oh, you are an old soul, or oh, you are a young soul. First of all, I didn't find any soul in human structure, only body, mind, and consciousness. So what we perceive as an old soul is just a deep philosophical mind or a person who went through a lot in his or her life. Everyone used to tell me that they see some depth in me, and I must be an old soul because when I was 20, my eyes were like, like I am a 100 years old person. But what they saw in my eyes was just a deeply philosophical mind which liked to think over and over about life since childhood. And I just didn't have an easy life. That's it. And my last insight during this retreat was on the last day. We were given a meditation to open our hearts. But my ego was having its moment, so my mind was going around with the thoughts like, oh, it doesn't work, I don't feel anything, this definitely cannot open my heart, etc. I was waiting for some experience because I had already heart opening experiences, so I wanted to compare. And on the very last minute of chanting, a girl who sat 2 seats from me started to weep. And then the girl next to me, and the next minute my heart opened up and I started to cry. And that moment I realized the true meaning of the law of giving and receiving. All 10 days we were given everything unconditionally. We were provided with the best food, best accommodations, and no one expected anything from us in return. All was done with one simple, pure intention that we could get free from our suffering. And only such selfless, pure intention has the power to open the hearts. And once your heart is open, all you want to do is to give further. And this is how you start a chain of giving and receiving. What you give to another, that person will give further, and then that person will give further. No expectations, just open heart flooded with unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. And then, when the circle will come back again, someone else will give you all the goods that ripple out from the act of your unconditional giving. Everything will return to you thousandfold, because on its way it accumulated so much energy of love. And what we have nowadays, this laws of energy exchange, and give you something and you give me something in return, has nothing to do with the real law of giving and receiving. All the freebies people give and then expect you to sign up with an email that they can spam you with their offers will never have a power to open someone's heart. An expectation has nothing to do with the true law of giving and receiving. So these were the biggest insights from my Vipassana retreat. To sum up in a few words, just get into the present moment, observe, and remember that nothing is permanent, neither this moment nor your entire life. I wish that all of you be free from suffering, find true happiness, unconditional love, and unconditional acceptance. And I see you all next week on our channel, Rise and Shine TV. With love and gratitude, your Lakshmi.